Today we're taking a look at patch 14.6 so far and seeing how all the changes have affected our tier list this week. This is based on the majority of ranks from silver all the way up to diamond. But don't forget we also do have a high elo tier list on our website too, which focuses on master and beyond. So let's start off with the top lane. And in the S tier we have Darius, Fiora, Gragas, Kayle, Olaf, Renekton, Trundle, Urgot and Zac. Cho, Ornn, San and Shen all received some minor buffs this week which didn't really make too much of a difference to their placements. Darius continues his strong success rate over recent patches and Renekton moves back up there with the big boys too. Gragas' nerfs this week saw him lose a few % off his win rate in the mid lane, a little bit in the jungle and the top lane too. But he still kept his place in the S tier in the top lane due to that tanky ability haste build being so consistent. So if you are a Gragas main, don't worry too much, he's still a really good option to play in the top lane. Tryndamere saw some buffs this patch to his attack speed growth and to some of his items too, which have given him the little boost he needed to get back into the A tier. His win rate climbed by over 1.2%, now placing him with around a 52% win rate, which is a really solid number to maintain. Tryndamere mains are some of the scariest opponents to face, but we just haven't seen them that much for a while now. Maybe this patch will remember just how hard he can carry. Zac bounces his way back into the top lane S tier again and still proves exceptionally strong in the jungle too, and people are even playing him support and mid lane as well this patch. He has a ton of damage, sustain, tankiness and disruption in fights that make him an amazing pick into any game, so give him a go. If you want to stay up to date with the best Zac builds and runes patch by patch, then click the link in the description and head to our website. Moving into the jungle now, and in the S tier we have Bel'Veth, Brand, Evelynn, Jax, Master Yi, Rek'Sai, Viego, Volibear and Zac. Yes, Volibear stays in the S tier this patch despite his nerfs, Rek'Sai moves up to the S tier and Brand and Jax make a return as well. Briar has been a bit of a pub stomping machine in low elo so far this season, despite having absolutely no presence in high elo whatsoever. Due to her tendency to face roll lower ranks though, she's got some nerfs this week to her W and her ultimate that have caused her to take a little bit of dip in form. She's still in the A tier though and capable of snowballing extremely hard, but just not quite as often as previously. Diana got some buffs this patch to her attack speed ratio and attack speed growth, which have brought her back up into the A tier. She's been pretty underwhelming and not very popular so far this season, and after a huge period over the last few years prior where she was just such an amazing jungle pick to play. Now she is much more playable than before and a great pick to have in the right games. She's just not absolutely super duper broken just yet. Kayn got hit pretty hard this patch with Riot nerfing his ultimate damage in blue form, as well as hitting some of his item spikes like serrated Dirks. Riot are trying to bring back Red Kayn without gutting Blue Kayn, but unfortunately this patch has not really been too kind to him so far. Well, let's move into the mid lane now, and in the S tier we have Ahri, Anivia, Aurelion Sol, Cassiopeia, Kassadin, Sylas, Tristana and Twisted Fate. The Karma nerfs have hit her pretty damn hard as she moves down from S to B. Twisted Fate moves back up to the S tier though, and the A tier is also full of super solid picks to play. A few examples being Hui, Katarina, Talia and Nico. Aurelion Sol remains one of the strongest mid lane picks to play this patch and has a really impressive win rate across basically every single rank. He has tons of wave clear, safety with his W, insane DPS and some of the best scaling in the game too, with uncomparable amounts of AoE damage in the late game. Despite Aurelion Sol's somewhat unimpressive early game, it just doesn't seem to matter too much, because once he gets an item or two, he really does become a bit of a problem. Tristana is back up there in the S tier 2 this week with some buffs to AD carries items, some nerfs to other items and the mid lane mage meta favouring her massively, and she's always been a really solid counter pick to these scaling mid-range picks. She's famously always been a very popular choice into the likes of Kassadin and many more similar champions that she can just destroy before they have a chance to play the game. Ahri is having a fantastic time in the mid lane meta right now too, proving when she's strong, she's easily one of the best options in the game. She's got amazing mobility, catch potential, burst damage, wave clear and everything you need to carry hard, carry often and carry pretty easily too. So if you haven't already been playing Ahri, why not? Let's have a look at those AD carries next then, and it's safe to say that bot lane mains were pretty happy with some of the item buffs this patch. In the S tier we have Ashe, Jinx, Kog'Maw, Twitch and Zeri. Yes, Ashe and Zeri move up to the top tier this week, Smolder moves all the way down to the B tier and Neela only just misses out on the S tier as well. Jinx is finally having her time in the spotlight so far this patch, with the crit item buffs and the nerfs to some other AD carries that have overshadowed her so far this season. In my opinion, Jinx has always been one of the most fun marksmen to play, with those long range rockets and crazy movement speed from getting those passive resets. So right now, if you do enjoy Jinx like me, then you probably should start maining her again. Kog'Maw is in the S tier because his win rate is seriously impressive. He does need the right games with the right supports and the right comps to really be optimal. But in these cases, he's just winning an absolute ton of games right now. Pick him with a Lulu, Amelia, or even a Janna, and as long as you don't turbo into the lane phase, you will come out in team fights all guns blazing and completely decimate everything you see. Rest in peace, Smolder, you will not be missed. Yes, the unbalanceable abomination pentakill fire-breathing machine has finally bit the dust this patch, after Riot gave him basically the Zeri treatment. Smolder has been a serious issue to deal with since his release, and has genuinely been one of the most contested picks in the game in every single lane. His win rate has dropped already this patch by over 5% at most ranks. So let's see what Riot have in store for him in the next few weeks. Let's have a look at support then, and in the S tier we have Blitzcrank, Brand, Janna, Pyke, Rakan and Zyra. Maokai finally moves down from the S tier this week after a ridiculously strong performance this season, and he'll join Senna, who also got dethroned recently. Seraphine also moves up to the A tier as well. Janna is basically just the best support in the game now, especially after the nerfs this patch to Solstice Slay hitting some of her more aggressive supporting peers. She is the optimal pick in solo queue that just slots into literally any team comp in the game. She has peel, protection, shield, sustain, buffs, CC, disruption, yeah, basically everything you need, she has it. So if you main support and just want to farm some LP, start playing Janna. Brand is still an amazing support option too, and this has probably been Brand's best ever season to date. He's got decent damage in the lane phase with good poke and harass, good catch potential and stun combos, and if he does get a bit of a lead, the amount of damage he deals in 2v2s and early team fights and scaling into the rest of the game is just a great addition to any team comp. Pyke is definitely not quite as straightforward as champions like Janna or Brand, but his skill ceiling is up there with some of the highest in the game for any support. His ability to solo carry games is insane, if you are good enough to pilot him well enough. And when you clean up one big team fight with those ultimate resets, you will easily get addicted to playing this champion, because those moments are what we really play the game for. He takes a bit of practice to play perfectly, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to have a ton of fun and start getting some serious elo along the way too. And that brings us to the end of our patch 14.6 updated tier list video for you. We hope you guys are all enjoying the season 2024 grind, and don't forget to download our overlay to get all the best builds, runes, guides and everything else you need to help you rank up this season. Thanks for watching guys, and as always, take care.